Hi, I wanted to share some of the activities that my family and I did when we visited La Fortuna, Costa Rica. First up would be the Arenal Hanging Bridges Park in Mystical Park. As you can see, the beautiful volcano back there. There are many hanging bridges. I can't recall how many there actually was. As you can see, they were very stable. Even those in my family that are a little weary of heights didn't have an issue going across, and the views were stunning. We had a fabulous guide named Carlos that pointed out insects and animals and plant life along the way. We even saw a wild pig run through in front of us, and he had this pretty cool scope that he would take pictures with our phones. There we go. There's a yellow snake he pointed out to us. Next up was the 12 zip lines that we did. This was the most that you could do at that particular location. We all enjoyed this a lot. The zip lines were all different. Some were shorter, some were longer, some were fast, some were a little bit slower. If you were lightweight, there were a couple lines that were longer that you would be paired with somebody else and a guide just to make sure you didn't get stuck out there and make it to the end. Don't worry about it. There were a couple people that got stuck near the end, but they just kind of turned around and pulled themselves in. It really isn't as bad as it probably sounds. We felt safe the whole time. You had two double hooks that held you on there. You had your hand had a brake on it, and they showed you how to use that at the end. And we even had a view of the waterfall from one of these lines. And I would highly recommend to do this zip lining if you get a chance while visiting La Fortuna. And then next up after this would be horseback riding to the waterfall. We all mounted some horses. They took a pretty slow pace, although once in a while they'd get up to a trot. You can see the waterfall there. We dismounted and took a hike through the woods to see the waterfall. Unfortunately, it had rained a lot, so we weren't allowed in the water because it was too dangerous, but the sights from the side were just amazing. Just to warn you though, it is quite a hike back up. There's, I think, 500 stairs, so just be prepared for that. Next up, Northfield Coffee and Chocolate Tour. Our guide was amazing. It was a great combination of learning and history, as well as you can see my husband and son were doing an interactive activity here, and then we get to taste different chocolates with toppings. We also had to taste, or got to taste, different kinds of coffee, and they explained more about the process to us, which was great. We went to sloth territory where we were seeing a lot of animals, sloths, monkeys, a tarantula. Unfortunately, I'm not a big spider fan. We saw this poison dart frog, which is highly poisonous. And they even took several videos for us.
See a baby up here?
A baby.
This is Guitar Hero. Baby sloth playing Guitar Hero. Hola, guapo.
And then next up were these hot springs that were natural. They were free. You just had to be able to find them. We took a dip in there. There was a lot of people there when we went, but if you go across down below, there's a bridge and there's kind of a more private area on the other side. So if you decide to go here, make sure to check that out. Also, just know that there's not a good Wi-Fi, or there's not good cell phone service there. So we had a little issue getting the Uber, but we were able to get them when we walked a few minutes up the street. I would highly recommend going to La Fortuna, Costa Rica. There's so much to do there and see, and for 11 days we never ran out of anything to do, and we never seemed to get bored. The food was fabulous, and everybody there was just really nice to us and accommodating and helpful. I do have a website I'll put below that has more information on the specific tours and the guides that we took and some tips if you want to check that out. And safe travels. Thank you.